Hi, Greg here with the tip of the week. What I'm going to go through today is calorie counting. There's a lot of controversy out there whether you should be counting calories, whether you shouldn't be. So we'll go through a bit of the good, bad, ugly about calorie counting. So when it comes to calorie counting, of course, the basis of calorie counting is figuring out how much energy you're expending versus how much you're taking in. And if that equation balances, you're expending more energy than you're actually bringing in, theoretically you should lose weight. Here's the bad about calorie counting and the systems that are out there right now. Any one of those systems, the calorie count on any particular food they have there can be as much as 25% off. And so when you extrapolate that out over an entire day of all the food you're consuming, that's a pretty big margin of error. The ugly part of calorie counting is that if you do it for long periods of time, first of all, just merely doing it, writing it all down, in some people, some of the clients that I've worked with, the thousands of clients I've worked with over the years, it's going to create resent and disappointment in yourself if you're either not being diligent about it, or you're being diligent about it and you're not really losing weight, or you're not losing weight the way you expected because of the diet you're on that's telling you to count calories. So, of course, if this is creating resent, then you're not going to stick to it. It's going to, definitely affect your motivation. If your motivation is low, or especially if you're stressed about it, it's eating at you. Then, of course, cortisol in your system there's more cortisol in your system, which is going to affect everything from suppressing your immune system to suppressing growth, that sort of thing. So that's the bad and the ugly side of it. The potential good side of counting calories, and I don't go as deep as actually counting every single calorie with my clients, but definitely it's a good exercise to go through at least once in your life, where you take a week or a 2-week period or something like that and really get a base for how much food you're actually consuming. Not only is this can be helpful for any professional you work with, but it, by and large, for all the people that I've gotten to do it, and we do with my clients, keep track of what food they're intaking, not necessarily by the calorie, but just to go through that process will give you some really good insight as to what kind of foods you're eating and how dense those foods are. Usually what we see is when we get people to count calories for a little while, then one of two things happens. They're either eating a lot less than they're supposed to, and they didn't even realize it, skipping meals. There's a lot of meal skippers out there. Or at the other end of the spectrum, they're eating a lot more than they were willing to admit before. If you've never done it before, just go on for a 2-week period, keep track of everything that you consume, and it'll give you an education as to not only, you're looking at the calories, you're starting to look at labels a little bit more. You'll also see what the nutritional values are in there, because when you look at the calories, everything's right there. And it'll give you a better sense for the foods that you're eating. So again, I don't necessarily advocate it, keeping track of it as for a diet standpoint, but it's a great exercise to go through just to get you into reading labels and give you an idea of where you are, where you're starting, and potentially what changes need to happen. Okay? I hope that helps. And be active, be healthy, and be injury-free.